Hey folks, Dave with URAL Motorcycles. So the video I was going to do this week got delayed, so I'm going to go back to something that you guys have been asking for, and it got pushed back a while ago, and then I forgot about it, and then it got brought up again, and now I remembered it, but I had another video scheduled, so because my video that was scheduled got delayed, we're going back to what you guys asked for. If you understand that, great. So let's get you set up here. So what we're going to do is, ta-da! URAL diagnostic video with the A-Racer diagnostic tool, which me and Nick talked about before. And the thing here is I left for a year and a half, and then I came back. So in that time, the diagnostic, or the Gen 2 EFI came out, and Nick had that up, and by the time I got back, everybody was well versed in it. Jason, our tech and warranty guy, Nick, purchasing, R&D, all that kind of stuff. But I really haven't had any experience with it, and I really haven't had to put my hands on it because, one, there's not a lot to do with the Gen 2 EFI. It's as far as comparing it to the first generation and second generation, we were always plugging in the bikes. It's not really the case with the Gen 2. So anytime anything's needed to be done here in the shop with a media bike or whatever, it's usually Nick or Jason jumps on it and they take care of it, and I really just haven't had to delve into it. Well, my Burgundy bike, I went out to start it this morning to make the other video, and it just click, 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 nothing. And then I heard the stepper motors in the throttle bodies. They normally, when you turn on the bike, they go and they wind up. You can hear it, and the pump is priming. And then when you turn off the key, you can also hear it wind down. There's like a second that it does that. Well, I think because of the low battery, my stepper motors got stuck halfway, or one way or the other, or whatever the case may be. Check engine light came on as well. Charge the battery up. The bike starts now, but the check engine light is on. So it was just a weird set of circumstances that led us to this, and I think it's something's telling me I need to do the diagnostic video. So this is going to be a learning experience for me. I haven't even installed it on my computer yet. We're going to go through the whole process, and I think it's a good comparison to what you guys would be going through if you bought this and we're using it on your Gen 2 EFI bike as well. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is, inside the box there's a little thumb drive, and I've been told that there's a complete set of instructions that was printed off for me and given to me. I guess this printed version is also in a PDF format on this thumb drive, if I can get it open, as well as the diagnostic tool program to download onto your laptop. So we're going to plug that in. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Documents, and we're going to go to USB drives, and then if you go into the URAL Diagnostic Tool User's Manual, that printed copy I have here, if you double click it, there's a PDF version here. It's got what the pinout locations are and how to use the tool with a desktop or with the app, and what some of the basic functions are. Let's close this. And if you go into the double click on the diagnostic tool and click Setup Diagnostic Tool, it looks like it guides you through the steps. The installer will install URAL Diagnostic Tool to the following folder. Next. Next. Okay, so it's installing. Okay, so now it's asking if I want to install the drivers for drivers of iLink. You want to click yes, and then it will ask you to accept. I accept this agreement. You can hit next, and then finish. Close. Okay, so now if we close this out, we have the URAL Diagnostic icon. We can open up. So when you open it, you got a username, and according to the directions, the username is service. I assume it's case sensitive, so it says capital S, and then the password is capital EFI for EFI, capital SERV, EFI serve. I clicked memorize password, okay, and look at that. Click English. All right, we download the diagnostic tool. That wasn't hard at all, actually. I'm running Windows 10 on my laptop, and I have an iPhone, so we'll see how it does with that too. But so far, no problems. Go to the App Store and just type in the search section, and it comes up URAL Motorcycles OBD. And then if you scan down, it should say A-Racer SpeedTech Inc. as the seller. And then you want to make sure that you confirm that it's A-Racer and not something fraudulent. Okay, download, and now it's saying URAL OBD would like to use Bluetooth. Okay. Turn on Bluetooth to allow URAL OBD to connect to accessories. Okay, I guess we'll figure that out when we actually hook up to a bike. So with that part out of the way, you can remove the thumb drive. I think we're done with it for now. Put it back in the box. Save that for later. So let's go take my laptop, the downloaded program, what we just downloaded on the App Store from my phone, and with the cord and the Bluetooth adapter, we'll see if we can't get the computer hooked up and the phone to register with this, and we'll see how it goes. So the first thing we're supposed to do is remove the side panel under the seat, or the battery cover. Once the side panel is removed, you're going to find your diagnostic port where the cable plugs in. Now, your bike is going to almost guaranteed be a little bit different than what you see here. This bike has gone through quite a few changes over the years, so it's an amalgam of different years. It is technically, in all respects, 2019 as far as the motor and the fuel injection system and the harness and things like that. But once you locate the area where your diagnostic port is, usually it's just a press and pull, and it will expose where the port goes. So you remove that cap, plug the USB end of the cable into an open USB port on your computer. Then you're going to take the other end and align the notches or the grooves with the cable and insert the cable. Now take your key and rotate it one click back to the on position. And as you can see, the check engine light is still on my bike, so we're going to find out what that's about. So the first thing we're going to do, according to the directions, is open up the URAL Diagnostic tool. Remember that the selected username is capital S ERVICE, service with a capital S, and then the password is capital EFIS ERV. So EFI serve with EFIS capitalized. So, and then you're going to click OK to continue. Now on my screen, I actually clicked memorize password, so every time I open it, it's already in there. You click OK, and then it says to click connect. It says if connection isn't established immediately click COM port in the lower right corner of the screen and choose the correct COM port. Mine is not connecting, so I'm going to click COM port, confirm. Okay, now the connect button has lit up, so we'll hit connect. And it's telling me the connection is okay. Once connected, verify the connection by clicking engine data. Operate the throttle while monitoring the TPS percentage value, which is right here, which should change in accordance with the throttle. So if I twist the throttle, the TPS percentage should go up and down as I increase and decrease the throttle, which it did, it moves. So the connection is good, and it's actually responding to input even with the bike off. Now it says to start our engine and go into the freeze frame screen. So we're going to start the bike. It is in neutral. I'm going to pull the clutch just for safety. This is a cold engine start. It hasn't been started for a while, except for checking that it would start after I recharge the battery. So let's go into the freeze frame screen. Let's go into engine data screen. Okay, so freeze frame took a snapshot of where we were. So you go to engine data, and it looks like you've got live time data coming through. CLC and CLC2 should be fluctuating, which they are. And then your BLM and your BLM2, which is the left and right sides, should each be within a range of plus or minus 10%. So ours are at 5.47 and 6.25. So they are within the plus or minus 10% range. And they're actually leveling out now. As you can see, they're getting, now they're going into negative. The bike is past its cold startup point, and now it's, you can see how the numbers have changed. So it says here, if we go to engine data screen and click on that, and then go into freeze frame, we can clear the DTC, but I want to see the DTC first. So whatever it was has cleared itself, and it's not showing up anymore. So if we go back into freeze frame, oh, I see here. So it says crank sensor open or short to ground, and battery status or key off process is abnormal. Okay, I'm going to shut off the bike for a second. These guys want me to move. I'm disturbing them, so hold on a second. Sorry, I had to move the bike. I was disturbing the people inside the warehouse, so we're going to start this again and get back to it. All right, so from the engine data screen, hitting freeze frame, and you can see I cleared my DTCs. The ones that were stored have been cleared, and then the one that was active was cleared, which was the irregular keying. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and shut this off. What I misunderstood was when you're in the engine data screen and you hit freeze frame, and I had the two codes here under stored. One was for the crank sensor and the other one was for an irregular keyed event. And then the active one was also for the irregular key, which was directly related to when the battery was going dead. I was turning the key on and off, and the stepper motors got stuck or whatever I was saying before at the beginning of the video. So that caused the one code, and then the other one that was a stored code that was inactive because it was gray. That was from a previous event that I never cleared because I didn't know about it, where I had some of the harness disconnected and then I reconnected it. So that's probably why it went from an active to an inactive, because I had reconnected that point on the harness. As you can see, the check engine light has gone off now that the DTCs have been cleared. Going back to the diagnostic tool, aside from engine data, you've got you can check which ECU version you're in. You get the freeze frame that we've been playing with. Evidently, you can do component tests on the different components, and then you have read learn parameters and reset learn parameters. Now, the learn parameters are what the bike teaches itself over time riding in your particular elevation, the heat. It's teaching the bike how to act and how to meter the fuel and the air and everything else. So if you reset that learn parameter, it's got to go through that that learning episode again. For the most part, you're just going to be working with the engine data, the freeze frame, and the DTCs, which is the trouble codes. So I'm going to wrap up this video. I'll end up doing a part 2 here where we play with the dongle, the Bluetooth dongle, and the app on the phone. And we'll also hook up a carb tune and balance the throttle bodies, which is all part of it. But I do want to say, you'll have to excuse my lack of familiarity with this program, but it is the first time I've delved into it. So it's actually pretty intuitive as far as a new user. You just have to get familiar with what all the functions do. But I do want to say that the diagnostic tool is just that. It's a tool to help you diagnose whatever the trouble codes are that you're seeing. It's not a magic program that's going to cure everything. So you have to have some prior knowledge to determine what the codes mean. And each time you see that code, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the same thing as it was maybe before. So my knowledge of this bike, being that it had a dead battery, that leads me to believe that the one trouble code that I cleared for the irregular keyed event that was going on, that was because I know for a fact I was turning the key back and forth, back and forth. The other event, which was the crank sensor, I know for a fact because I was playing with the bike actually months ago now, where I had disconnected a bunch of stuff and I reconnected it. I know for a fact that that's what that was. Now, if I didn't have that prior information, or a dealer doesn't have that prior information when they're hooking up their bike, they're going to have to try and determine what the cause was. If you weren't messing with anything and that crank sensor trouble code came up, maybe it's because it's a faulty crank sensor. So like I said, it could be one of two things. Maybe you disconnected it while you're washing the bike and you reconnected it, the trouble code pops up and there's actually nothing wrong with the crank sensor. So you got to have some working knowledge of the bike and its systems and what the trouble codes stand for. It doesn't always mean A equals, this code. You have to try and figure out based on what the symptoms are of the bike. So next video we'll mess with the app on the phone and see what kind of functions it has, and we'll hook up the carb tune, like I said, and show you how that works and balance the throttle bodies. And yeah, we'll finish it up in the next video, because as always this one's getting kind of long. So until next time, I appreciate you watching, and we'll talk to you later.